on that particular project. Certainly, the information was presented differently. And after doing more research, after seeing how the developer came back again and again and again asking for money, I had decided many years ago not to support it. So I haven't supported any additional funding, and I will not support any additional funding for that project, because it is not, in my opinion, the best use of taxpayer dollars.
Yeah, and thank you. Let's just talk. The dome site sat vacant for 30 years. Non-productive money. And the thing is, people, let's realize that they had 65 public encounters prior to us moving forward with this project. Regretfully, we had COVID and we had inflation, which really skewed a lot of the numbers. But once again, down the line, this thing will be a money generator. And yes, folks, let me put it this way: we're in the process of making instead year-round at the oceanfront, which are going to significantly help. Okay, but once again, there was a lot of public engagement on this, and we decided to move forward.
Okay. 150 million. Is it 13 acres of your property? 12 acres. Sorry, I got it wrong. 12 acres. Let's factor that into the price. And let's talk about the debt load over time. What's going to be? Look, I've been in business 30 years, guys. I've been in the retail business. I know. Well, I've been at the resort. This is nonsensical. Oh, and by the way, did any of these comments tell you about the 3,000 parking places they removed off the streets over the last 10 or 15 years? Oh, so now they can build public-private partnerships, these little mini resorts they put all over the city. What's next? Rudy Loop, 17th Street? Oh, don't tell anybody about those secret deals that are going down. They're going to cost a lot of money. There's one guy that would say no and hell no to that project. First of all, you have the biggest wave pool on the East Coast called the Atlantic Ocean. Surfers are not going to surf in that. They're not going to pay $100 an hour to do it either. That's just nonsensical. We need people, common sense in there. You don't have that right now. I'm a builder. I've been in business a long time. I know how to make it work. That's the difference between these guys and me. I know the difference between a performer and not a performer, and these performers are non-existent, and you shouldn't be doing things when you don't have a performer on people's money. It's that simple.
Okay. All right. John got the first question last time, so Liz gets the first question this time. Are you willing to sell the aquarium that serves a huge attraction for tourism?
No, thank you for that question. I'm actually glad you brought that up. Another issue with leadership. If you read the paper from a few weeks ago, we've been on recess for 3 weeks, so we haven't had any deliberations yet. Our mayor approached a Worth Remick liaison to the aquarium, asked them to not come to the meeting. That's documented. And so him and Rosemary Wilson went to the meeting with the aquarium and misled them, telling them that we would pause the very study that Vice Mayor Wilson led to get for $110,000. And I had to call Stacy Parker. I had to call the manager, who was pissed off because he knows he takes direction from the entire city council, not 2 of members. It was leaked to Stacy Parker. I don't support even going down this line because when the aquarium came to us, they asked for $60 million, which if we did it through the bond debt would be no money per year. And again, if we looked at the investment we just gave to Pembroke Realty for $22.9 million for a parking deck that will service none of our investments, we could pay for the aquarium to stay and start investing in infrastructure and deferred maintenance.
So selling the aquarium, I cannot support that particular project or selling it at this time. I don't think, first of all, we haven't really talked to the key stakeholders. They have not really had an opportunity to discuss and talk about what they feel is the direction of the aquarium. The staff has not been included. There has not been a really good discussion with all the key stakeholders, and certainly bringing in the residents of Virginia Beach to find out what they think as well. There's a lot more research that has to be done. There's a lot more collaboration in terms of talking and discussing this issue. No, we're not at that point. We're nowhere near that, and I don't think it's a good idea to do that.
Yeah, I'd like to clean up some misinformation that's been going out there. You know, a number of months ago, the aquarium approached us and said that, you know, it's a 40-year-old structure that requires significant maintenance. And the cost that they gave us at the time was between $200 and $300 million. And so once again, when we put that on our capital, with all the capital things that I identified to you before, that was tough. So we explored the idea of not selling it, but outsourcing it to companies that have been successful. But once again, there was some misinformation. I was requested, along with the vice mayor, to attend a meeting with the foundation and you know, some other principals. And to that degree, when we were invited to it, you know, to explore the possibilities, but no decision will be made in terms of putting the brakes on anything until council reconvenes. You have my word on that.
No. It's that simple. And by the way, let's talk about the stakeholders. Even if I said no and they all said no, you know who the stakeholders are? Can I give you the names? You're not going to get mad, are you, if I give you the names? I'm probably going to get in trouble for doing this. It's you guys. You are the stakeholders. You are the ones paying the lion's share. You are the ones paying real estate taxes. That's who's paying this. That belongs to us. It's a draw for us in the city. If things are so good, why do we keep having to do public-private partnerships? If these business deals are so great, why do we have to put our money into it? How come the developer doesn't do it? Because you know why, everybody? It's free money. It's free money. They don't care about the taxpayers. They care about their project and their profits. And if I was on council, I can tell you right now, that Wade Park wouldn't have been built because I would have made them show us a performer that would have worked, because none of this works. You can't make it work. It'll never work. Listen to what I'm saying now. It will never work, just like the sportsplex will never work, just like the convention center never worked. And I called those out 20 years ago as well, and I did with the sportsplex as well. They're not working. They're not working. They don't help. Sorry.
No, but as to the last question, I wasn't one of those 10. I had to abstain from that vote, unfortunately, that whole process, or it would have been as good as the arena project that we had, that they couldn't make work, so we got out of it. But I had to abstain because I had stock in Dominion Resources, part of the trust for my autistic daughter, and so I didn't vote on that. I just want to make sure I wasn't one of those 10. And I never saw any of that details until it was all done, and it was a bad deal. But no. But what we really need to have is transparency. There should have been an announcement that the mayor and the vice mayor are meeting with the foundation. There should have been an announcement about all that kind of stuff. They should say what the plan is, but it makes people think that the real reason why we're trying to unload the Marine Science Museum is because we want that $200 million for Capstone and for the 17th Street Hotel, which was supposed to be for a park. That's what people out here think. It's not about that it's too expensive, because we need the debt for somebody else.
That's right.
We need more transparency with us and with the council as a whole.
On this question, Dominion has bought the Avangard offshore wind lease deal from, which is expected to close in the fourth quarter of this year after securing approval from the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management and the City of Virginia Beach. Are you going to be in favor of the community down there doesn't want to land and go up Sandbridge Road, make a right on Upton, make a left on Culver to go to Corporate Landing? They don't like the route. And I know that you all were not going for that when it was Avangard. Are you going to go for it now that it's Dominion and somebody wants to know who the foreign stakeholders are?
Well, it sounds like this is a project that certainly I said that I would not support because of the residents of Sandbridge and because of their concerns. It was very clear I did not support it. And so it seems like Dominion has found a way to make some changes to try to bring this back up to City Council. And so my position on that has not changed. The folks who are a part of the project, their names remain the same. It's the same particular project, so absolutely, I don't support it.
You know, Avangrid did not come to a vote. I met with the leaders of Avangrid and told them that their project was not acceptable. and I informed our friends at Dominion Power that my attitude and direction is still the same. I would not support putting it in Sandbridge.
So when I got my signatures for my petition, which I did in 24 hours, last year I did, last time I did it in 18 hours, I sat down at a school, Cook School, and the number one question that wasn't even close was talking about these windmills, how they're unhappy with it, and how they didn't like it. And talking to people that live out in Croatan, they're not happy with what's going on, guys. And I'll be honest, I had nothing to do with it, nor what's done is done. If it's under contract and we spend money, it's hard to go back and change that. But it's not hard to go back and fix and not let something else bad happen, and that's what we need to do. We just can't keep working on bad deals and keep putting more and more money into it. That's craziness. It's taking good money and chasing it to the bad. No business people do that. It's a huge mistake. You can't do it. That's what lack of having a performer up front that has teeth to it and holding them accountable to that performer. And they're not doing that. And that's the difference I'll bring to play. I'll hold them accountable, and it better be in your favor before I vote for it, that's for sure.
Virginia Resources did not buy out Avangrid. What they did buy is they bought a share of that issue so they could use that easement that they're trying to acquire, because they're also going after for additional offshore leases. If the city is opposed to this project, they shouldn't just passively say they're not for it. They should actively enter and represent the views of Sandbridge at the State Corporation Commission, at the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, and at BOEM. All those have different regulatory jurisdictions, and they should make them, the people, address the concerns. So just passively saying you're against it or wouldn't vote for it, SCC, FERC, any of those agencies can be granting them those easements without the city doing anything. So if we support them, then we need to be actively engaged as an opposing participant in the review process itself. And I would have to abstain.
Chris?
Thank you. As the only person sitting at this table that actually drove out to Sandbridge for the announcement with the CEO of Dominion to hear what was said, I just want to tell you the truth. The truth of the matter is we met at City Council, we met and closed, and it wasn't because of Sandbridge residents. We were told by the other end of the table that there's an election year coming up and this is too controversial. That's why we didn't want to deal with it. Because after they met in November with Avangrid, the mayor and the city manager, 3 weeks later they met again and we were offered more money per cable because in a meeting with one of the attorneys I told him it's laughable $600,000 a cable on a $300 million project. And so I don't want you to be misled. The reason we haven't taken it up is because the body didn't want to deal with it in an election year. It wasn't because of the environment. It wasn't because of the concern for the residents. And now we're in a position where Dominion has acquired it. And until we take a hard stance, I, as your mayor, am one of the most transparent people that's ever served on this council and took the time to go out there to hear the residents. And 100% of them said, we don't want it.
Yes.
So I just want to be clear. I have sat down with residents at Sandbridge many times and talked to them about their concerns and have addressed their concerns with certainly the companies involved. I've looked at their research, and in terms of whatever decision that is being said was made, I did not make a decision based on an election. That was not my position. My position was because of the residents of Sandbridge, and we've had plenty of conversations, and I have advocated for them in that instance. That's my position on it.
Okay, these should all be like yes and no questions. Nobody mentioned anybody by name, so anyway, do you support or oppose light rail? In the comprehensive plan, there is a statement in there of doing the high-density town center-like things around the city and connect them to mass transit like light rail. We voted against it. You're going to take that out of the comp plan?
No light rail ever.
Take it out of the plan?
No light rail ever.
Just no.
No light rail with a clear strategy for what we're going to do to try to of the transportation issues. Because when you're out talking to residents and citizens, people that move here from Jersey, people that move here from New York, people that don't have cars, don't even know how to utilize our transportation system. So just know the light rail is not going to solve that.
So in terms of light rail, the people spoke, they said no. But I will say this, we do need to figure out what type of infrastructure we need to have. As a city as large as we are, and in terms of looking at future growth, we have to find some way to make sure folks get to work. To make sure when folks come over here and they transition here, they have a way to be transported. We do have to have some kind of plan.
We have buses.
So yes or no?
The buses, I've already answered that. I've already said that.
So you said yes?
I've already answered the question.
Yes. Okay, how about rails to trail?
Rails and trail.
Yeah, putting trail, the bike trail down
Norfolk Southern right away.
Is everybody in favor of that? Okay, and then there was the transit, the micro transit pilot project. You all going to do that one? It was at the informal session. They had the guy give the micro thing where you call up and you like group people. It's kind of like freebie, placing freebie.
Yeah.
So is everybody in favor of doing that? Yes or no? Oh, you don't know what that is? Huh?
As liaison against RAC, everything goes through RAC if you haven't figured that out. The issue right now that the RAC has is all of a sudden freebie and HRT aren't good enough. What they want to do now that we've identified an expansion opportunity is opening up for an RFP so that maybe somebody new can come in and benefit from that. So their support for microtransit, but I believe the conversations going on right now internally are will there be an RFP so that we can open up the competition.
Okay, yes. The transit had gotten a grant or something, and they wanted you all to help them pay into it.
I gotta say this, because I've got a plan at the oceanfront already to go down to Shore Drive that won't cost the city hardly anything. Might even make money with the current bus systems, the buses that we have already. Why don't we utilize them? That would save us a whole lot of money and get traffic moving, and that will remove the oceanfront traffic and make it better for everybody. And that won't cost us anything. I've been talking about this for a decade. That's the plan.
I say no, because we keep making these one-of-one decisions. We need to look at these in a full list of all the things on our plate and then do a competitive ranking and make smart decisions.
Amen, yeah.
This is one-of-one, and that's a bad way to do business.
Anybody else want to tie in on the transit?
It's important that we get this right. Transportation's the problem, and let's look at the best possible option.
All right, backyard chickens, yes or no?
According to my neighbors, absolutely not there too.
That's a 50-50 split, like abortion. It's 50-50. I don't even want to answer that. It's a tough one. And I understand in the country, but not in the city.
No, but I would be interested in doing an overlay district like we do with short-term rentals, and the 75% of the people in a subdivision would like to have chickens, and I wouldn't be willing to make an ordinance and do it that way, but I know it would not be popular in my neighborhood.
Backyard chickens for several in our community is a mental health issue. They use them just like some people use service dogs. There are others that would just like to have them for pets. But I support those that have a special need, a mental health issue, and they're using that because they have shown in court that they have a legal standing. And I don't think we need to waste any more time suing people that already have figured it out.
I just think it's important for the committee that was supposed to be organized to study it and bring the information back to make a good decision on it. So if the information was brought back and it was researched, I can certainly see how I could support it.
Okay, do you support or oppose collective bargaining for city employees?
I do support collective bargaining.
Oh, man.
voice, no.
No. Do you support requesting the General Assembly to abolish the Virginia Beach Development Authority?
Yes. Let him answer it, each one of them. I want to hear from him.
Anybody have an opinion on that? No? Okay.
What about John? What about Mayor?
We're out of time, so we're going to start with the closing comments, 1 minute apiece. If we haven't asked your question afterwards, when you're having a little meet and greet here with the candidates, if they stay around, you can personally ask them your question. We just don't have time for any more.
So it's important for me, whether we are on the right side politically or not, to support and to listen to everyone's interests. And as the mayor of Virginia Beach, that is exactly what I would do. Even if you don't determine that you want to vote for me, after November 5th, I will be right back making sure that I answer your questions, that I listen to your calls like I take them now. I know many folks did not support me as a council member, but guess where I was? Right back at a meeting, taking your calls, listening to your comments. I promise to make sure that I am available to hear your concerns in any form. And so for me, it's going to be making sure that I support your priorities and a shared vision. So a lot of you have some things that you want to be done. And so as a mayor, I will look at your feedback as I have been doing these last 7 to 8 months, getting feedback and making sure we have a shared vision to move the city forward. For more information, go to my website. You can see exactly what I stand for and exactly what I have done and what my plan is. www.wooten4formayor.com.
Chris?
First, thank you for the forum tonight. We're at a very serious time. We have a choice this November that's going to determine the future of our city. I have nothing against anyone at this table. But they've been here for a long time. What do you want to see in the city of Virginia Beach in the next 4 to 8 to 10 years is going to determine how you vote in November. Your voice has been ignored. Your votes haven't mattered. And the community has not been the priority. For someone that's from here, whose mother integrated King's Grant School, whose great-great-grandmother worked at the Francis Lane House as the first black person, I am not going anywhere. My roots are deep. I'm the only candidate at this table with children in elementary school, middle school, or high school. I'm the liaison to the School Modernization Committee. And I'm on 6 other committees that the mayor and the vice mayor appointed me to because they saw my leadership ability. I'll be bold. I can't be bopped. And your voice will be my priority.
John?
Well, Diana, thank you for you and your team and for all the people that are here and all the people that are watching online. Thank you, Robert, for broadcasting this. I can't remake myself. I'm the person I've been since I first served in 1986. I've been served off and on over the years. I think I have been the only advocate for the residents for the most part during that since 1986. I've been the most transparent person. As your mayor, my calendar will be public. As your mayor, I will hold weekly podcasts so you can ask questions. I'm going to make sure that you get the same access and time to staff and to the council that the current campaign and VPAT of investors get. And all those meetings will be publicly posted as to when they took place, and the minutes of those meetings will also be made public. We need transparency so that you can get accountability. But my number one focus will be to push that cost curve to the left and put more money back in your pocket, because I don't care how good the city is, if your balanced budget and you're living day to day, the city isn't healthy if we aren't healthy, and that's my focus.
Okay.
This is the charter. It's the everything burger. It's everything we do is on this charter. If it's not in this charter, you cannot do it because of the Dillon Rule. Donald Trump won his case in Florida because lack of authority. This charter was changed with no authority. Not lack of it, with no authority. They had no authority to do it, and it was done wrong. If this stands, and you put these people back in office and allow this to happen, it's a big problem. They could do whatever they want at this point. What else are they doing? That's the question. This is everything. This is the Constitution of Virginia Beach. It takes precedent over state law. That's how powerful this document is. Transparency, tenacity, truth, and trust. You won't have to worry about me, because if y'all get me in there, you're going to want me to stay there, because I know who the boss is. It's you guys. It's the people. This is your city. It's not their city. It's not Development Authority. Vote RK or the parent, either way.
Thank you. I want to thank you all for being here today. You know, a lot of people call me the people's mayor. I have been on the city council for a long time, and guess what? Most of the people that live in this city really appreciate it. ODU study last year, 85% of people in this city had a favorable or highly favorable. 70% of the 5,000 realtors live in Virginia Beach, 70%. And let me just say this, I am the only veteran here, and you better believe that during a tough time, a Marine would be necessary. I have the ties with the military community during a challenging time that we're going to have. But once again, I thank you for the opportunity. Virginia Beach came a long way in the last 6 years, and we're going to take